Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you recording?
Recording.
Okay, Val, you look great.
Thanks.
Um,
You look refreshed.
I just took a bath. Anyway, I'll cut this first part out, but I'll say welcome to Something Out There. I'm Alan Steinfeld
I'm
with
Val
my good friend.
Tignini.
We want to catch people up on a lot of information and energies that have been happening over the last few months. So let's start with our trip to Mount Shasta, okay?
Yes.
That was quite an awakening for you. Do you want to tell people what happened to you? I mean, if you
Sure. I mean, when we were in Mount Shasta, as some of you might know, that Mount Shasta is a vortex, and it's a vortex for different ET beings, and they live within the mountain, and they affect the consciousness and the vibration, the frequency in that area. But it was heightened with the what we were doing in Mount Shasta. We were doing a summit for, what was it called? Truth Seekers. And
yes, the Speaker Summit.
yes, and we the people that were holding the energy there, we became kind of like a small conduit, a small, like, what I like to think of like a computer where there's like a charge there, and we were holding that energy in that space, and I was feeling it building up as the days went on. And so then it just hit me, and the energy, which felt Syrian, hit me so hard that I fell backwards on my back and started vibrating and channeling codes. So eventually, Alan, you kind of came over.
And called you back into your body a little bit.
Yeah.
But before you say, I just want to say it also happened to you because you're already activated. The Kundalini energy, the divine energy, which we all have, is sort of more on the surface for you. It's more accessible because your Kundalini energy has been awakened. So when you're in a strong vortex like that, it seems like you're just completely activated by all the energies there. So you start to transcend what I see. You start to transcend the personality of Val and real force of divine emanations enter you. That's what I see. And so, we went up to the mountain, and what did you go there on the mountain?
So when I ended up on the mountain, I could feel, as we were driving up the mountain, every level was a sort of dimension where each different, like the first level is kind of like the fairy, the gnome dimension. I was saying like the fifth chakra, and then we were going up. It was every chakra going up, and
Right.
finally, when you go to the top, it's the crown chakra, and that's how I believe Mount Shasta actually got its name as the crown chakra. And I also believe it's not the crown chakra of the earth, it's the galactic crown chakra. So it's connecting to space. Now,
Right.
space is, it's hard to say all that because space is within us. So when I say this, it's
right.
like,
there's lots of ships, lots of UFOs that are seen over the mountain all the time. And you actually saw some things. But I just also want to say about this activation. It's happening for everyone. It's planetary. It's a vibrational shift, and because you're attuned, you're feeling it more. Especially then you go to like a powerful vortex site like Mount Shasta, it really gets activated. But don't you think, or at least I feel, everyone, whether they know it or not, is experiencing this vibrational attunement?
absolutely. And it's like people like us are holding the space for everybody else. And some people are going to fall behind and they'll get sick and eventually perish. or
Well,
they're
what
going
can
to.
they do? Yeah, what can they do so that doesn't happen?
I don't think it's a choice, honestly. I think that everybody has a an end point. My belief is that when we come in onto earth, we already have so many breaths left, and then when you are ready to go, that your number of breaths are finished, that's when you go. So that could be
Well, I think there's
whenever.
always free will, though. I do think
I
there's.
do believe in free will, but only to a certain degree.
I think we could shift timelines. Is what I believe, and create a new vibrational field and access
so
these other realities. That's
So
just
it's
my belief.
interesting. You could say like that we can shift timelines, but again, I don't think that's our choice. I think it just happens. Like we were talking about this morning, it's grace. Grace gives us the shift of timelines. Like for me, it wasn't a choice that I had my Kundalini awakening and then I started seeing all these things. I didn't push it. It just happened. And
But isn't it a choice now whether you want to engage it or suppress it? It's not a choice. So, okay, okay,
absolutely not. Because if I
okay.
say no, it'll slam me. And in a nice way, right? I have no
No, in a
choice.
not so nice way too, though.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in a
Yeah,
nice way.
sometimes people get into car accidents, people get sick, people get all kinds of things because they're not in alignment with what their sole purpose
But
is.
that's what I'm saying. That could be a choice. I mean, to be in alignment or not. Not
Yes. So that in
that.
itself is, but some people they don't have the choice. So there isn't that fork in the road. There's just one way.
Right. You didn't have a choice. It's true. When you got activated, it was your time to awaken.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. A little girl in the middle of India, she's practicing Hinduism, but yet she has no other choice and to go in a direction of spirituality or whatever. I'm thinking about like these small villages where there's nothing to eat, which I've actually been to. There's the water's dirty. Like, really, what kind of choice does she have to move into something else besides the grace of God or grace of the universe, whatever you want to call it, to kind of blast her into a different kind of dimension reality?
Right. When that and that's grace, being open to it. But I feel it's time of acceleration. If I'm not watching, there's vibration going through me, so I feel my body vibrating. When we're in the field or even now, and if I eat too much dairy or sugar, I feel it, and I can't drink any alcohol, but because it's interrupting
The vibration.
this, yes, and the shift that is happening. So that's a choice not to
That
eat
is a
it. I
choice.
mean,
Yes.
and I feel better, of course, if I don't eat it. If I
Yes.
stay in the pure life, in a
Yes, I
sense.
make those same choices. Absolutely. Those are the little micro choices in between the major quote unquote choices. Now, like I said, some people don't even have the choice. Like I didn't have a choice when the grace came to me. I had no choice. It just came.
Right, but yes, I understand the force, and I was there, saw it just
Yeah.
zap, went right through your whole body. It was a beautiful thing to watch. It was really, you were bringing through something that was beyond your mind. And I know you've talked about this a lot, but I think what I want to just say now is that as we accelerate as a planetary frequency, more and more people will start to be confronting that. I mean, you didn't
Yes.
have a choice. You could have resisted it. You decided not to
Yes.
resist it. You
The
let it go
resistance
through
is
you.
definitely true. If the choice is there and you resist, then you suffer. Sorry to say.
Yes, you suffer. Yes, and and interesting. You suffer because really, what wants to come through you is pure bliss, isn't it? Isn't that
And
an
yeah,
interesting thing?
love and bliss.
And that wants to come through you,
Yes.
us, all of us, and people resist the pure bliss. Isn't that
Yes.
interesting? I mean,
which is what was happening now in
um,
2020. That this whole shift into this new decade, even though again the time and space is irrelevant, but it's the collective consciousness that changes that time and
yeah,
space to hold energy. So
yes.
but there's a new paradigm coming in our minds, and our minds create that matrix and holds that energy that has to come through.
No, you're right. 2020, it's an arbitrary dating, but it is a thought form matrix that then launches us into a new way of thinking. And I feel this coming year will be one of even greater acceleration and greater not when I say acceleration, I mean people will have a chance to be more creative, more available for cosmic energy, for this vibrational upliftment. So allow your body to go with it. Really watch everything you put into your mouth and see how your body reacts,
Mm-hmm.
because it will dampen the movement that wants to come through.
Absolutely.
So yeah, maybe you could say there's micro choices and macro no choice. But
Yeah, that's how I see it. But
so you
I
yeah,
think that this era, this time, is a time where we're being pushed for new ideas. So many people are like, oh my God, we're in 2020. I need to shift my life. I need to get, being more forward thinking and open minded, right? I think this is what's happening now that we're moving into 2020. I mean, think about this. Like when you were a kid, 2020 seemed like we would have flying cars, right?
yeah, that was science fiction, certainly was.
Yeah,
But
but we're not there yet because our consciousness isn't ready for it. It's available, that technology is available, but our consciousness isn't ready for that yet. Which goes to tell me that there's going to be something that has to catapult us into that new consciousness. And my feeling is
yeah,
that
I think that's coming of the ET conscious, the ET
exactly.
awareness. When we have proof, I mean, we don't need proof, me and you, and maybe many of the people listening, but when the world has proof that it's not just us, that there is technology, I think that will open up possibilities for the mainstream to accept these new inventions, free energy. I think when we have free energy, we won't have to worry about survival. If the government, if those forces allow that technology out, that is really something that I think could bring peace and joy to people on the planet. Like I think that's why it's here. You
Yeah,
know, and
and to add to that, my feeling is that this is a time of kind of reinforcing this new era in the new paradigm through creativity, as you were saying before.
yeah,
And to me, has a lot to do with the divine feminine. And if you notice, like we're all kind of being more conscious as to what how the planet is doing, and how we can be more sustainable, and all of this, which is very feminine. It's a very feminine quality to that way of thinking. And so
mm,
what I experienced on the mountain, on Mount Shasta, was goddess Isis came through. And
uh,
do you remember that, Alan?
I'm not sure when ISIS was there, but I do remember you shifting. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
and
you
what did ISIS
recorded
say?
it.
I
And
know, but I didn't know that was ISIS. I do
yeah,
have
it
the
was Isis. And I never ever channel, ever. And it was really like important to have that channeling. And I don't remember it exactly, but all I do remember is connecting to her. And then we went for a hike a few days later, and there was a goddess Isis statue where we were
oh,
sitting, and
right.
I have it. And
That was a gift from the mountain to you. It was sitting there just for you to kind of take, really.
yeah,
Nobody else was around. That statue was left, and yes.
just came out of nowhere, and it's such a gift. And like I've been shifting so much towards that goddess archetype, and it's been integrating in me, and I feel like a lot of people are doing that right now, moving into their godlike or goddess archetype. And it's happening because that's who we are. Essentially,
Right.
we are godlike, and it's, you know, it's a God is a very grandiose word, but it just means that our divine selves, you know, our pure
Well, I
self.
like to say more that these personalities, Val, whatever I call myself, are an aspect of the greater divine force. So in a sense, I would say you are Isis, and thou is just a subset of this greater being that you're moving into. So the more
Yeah,
you get out of the way, more we get out of the way of our personality, the more the divine aspect wants to emanate through us.
yeah,
And this is the evolution of humanity.
yeah.
Imagine if all of us walked around as these divine beings. What would that world look like?
And
And
it's happening. It's the, I think in, you know, we're, the golden age is near, and it's happening, and we're kind of moving towards that. But right now, like, this is what I've been told, the most souls on the planet are right now. Like, all incarnations are right now here on the planet. Nobody's waiting. It's because this is a very important time to kind of receive and see what's, you know, what's next for the soul. And are they
well,
going
as
to?
you say that,
Mhm.
no, but as you say that, I feel like the reason there's so many people here now is because the human mind has been operating at a low level, and what needs to happen is this upgrade to the mass consciousness. So the incarnation that happened after this will already be at that other level, you know. So
Yeah.
collective upgrades.
Yes.
And
And I
then
also believe it's a test of time. The soul is either going to come back and move towards the ladder of ascension where we would reach the golden age, or go back into source.
right.
So there won't be as many humans or beings on this planet at during the golden age, and which helps preserve the earth as well. So it's a whole thing, the whole plan of the
Well,
divine
I think
source.
no, I think with free energy, which is all around us, we could sustain as many people as we want. It's just that the greed of corporations
Mhm.
have forced us to use fossil fuel, which destroys the earth. But with activation of another energy source, we could give back to the earth. We can make it a true paradise, and we can support greater life here. This is our destiny. And so this upgrade out of the service for self versus service, others people have called it, is the test that we're going through. So I
Yes.
know when your Kundalini happened to you, you transcended a certain level of service to self. You then didn't have a choice, but you're here, you know, at service.
Yes. So that's what I'm doing now. I've been called to do this thing called Magdalene Tribe, and it's
Oh
basically a
yeah,
circle.
talk about that.
Yeah, it's a circle
What is that?
of men and women where we're speaking of higher consciousness, Christ consciousness, and how all these ancient uh, wisdom and the wisdom of Sophia is actually activating now, and being and activating all of us into this new level of consciousness. And so that's another thing I wanted to mention, is that I'm doing Blossom Online, and that's the initiation for this Magdalene Tribe. And Blossom Online
What
starts
happens?
December 1st.
But what happens in Blossom Online? What goes on? What
Well,
is
it's a
that?
WhatsApp group where all these people from all over the world come on to this group chat, and there's two chat groups. One of them is a transmission where I send either I write something, I either do video or I do audio every single day. And now it's up to the people how they want to participate. They can just read it, watch it, listen without really saying anything, or they can chat in the chat group with what I call Blossom Buddies, and we all like chat, and talk about the healing process and what they felt and all that stuff. And it's up to
So
everyone, like how they want to participate.
do you bring through are you like activated
So
at that point to bring?
it's always downloads through source. So like even if I write something, people receive energy through it and have a whole activation going on. It's the whole program is basically a DNA activation.
I think that's happening now. I think
Yeah.
you're facilitating that. As just your being, as I just notice in you as you move out of like the old thought form patterns, the energy starts to heighten in you, and you transmit it more. You're becoming more of a transmitter of that without even doing anything in a way.
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting. I think everybody's doing that. I think you also do that, Alan. We all have our gifts and we all have our purpose. And so like my purpose is to activate the divine feminine masculine balance within themselves so they could find their truest selves. And like I feel like you're more in the third eye activation. I think you're also a healer as well. But like when I'm with you, I have a lot of activity in my third eye. And I know so it's everybody has their gift. It's just a matter of what you need to do, and most people don't know. And well, that's okay.
I do focus on my third eye. Like when I was really young, I couldn't fall asleep and would just meditate like at 2 years old until there was light coming out of my third eye. I felt like I was being pulled into
you remember that. That's what's most impressive.
I do remember that because I had insomnia. I just couldn't sleep, so I just would shut my eyes and stare straight ahead until I started to see that. And so maybe that's thank you for pointing. I never realized that in a way that that was happening. So well, maybe we'll do some things together where we can activate the Kundalini and the third eye and bring that through, because this next decade, I know it's an arbitrary thing, but it will, I think, be the change in humanity. I think it will be
absolutely
crossing a threshold from an old world into the new world, but it's not a new world of technology. It's a new world of spirit activation and the deeper powers, will come online.
And
do you ever watch? Yes, go ahead.
A lot of people think that like 2020 is the year of technology, which is like going deeper into the internet and cars changing and all that stuff. But we have to be careful with that because there's a lot of frequency that comes through this, and when those frequencies, unnatural frequencies, hit the planet and hit our bodies, it can do more damage than anything. So we have to be more conscious as to what we wish for, and that's really what it is. We are the ones that manifest the reality. So wishing for more technology and all that, you know what? The more we don't really understand what technology can do and to our physical bodies in the earth. So better off wishing for something that will help us communicate better or whatever. Being more.
Well, that's our third eye. Our third eye, our psychic tuition, our internal bio-neurological activations is the greatest technology. This is what, we're moving towards as a planetary civilization. I mean, there's still a lot of problems in the way. You have to go.
I want to show you guys something. Hold on one second.
All right. I'm talking to Val Tignini, and she and I have been doing this series of programs. I think this is number 6, called Something Out There. Yes, show me.
Okay, so speaking of technology, so this is a pendant. One side has the flower of life, and the other side has the Sri Yantra. This thing is amazing. I wear it every single day. I didn't wear it now because I went to the gym, but it protects you from EMF and all that, but most importantly, it protects you from energies that are not good for you, and it aligns you to your, they say, the inner archetype. So the archetype comes through stronger, and you can just feel it as soon as you put it on. Like I just put it on, I can feel right away, like my field being protected and closed. I love it so
What do you call
much.
that?
This is not a commercial, but I'm just showing
No,
you guys. Just showing you guys.
What is it? What do you call it?
Oh, it's called I forget what it's called.
How
But
can people
again, it's not
find
a commercial. Although I could sell these. I have
It's
the
good
option.
sell though.
I have an option to sell them, but I'm not selling them. But the point is that this is the kind of technology that we need to focus on. This kind of technology, because one day
it's vibrational.
Yes,
It's
pure frequency. That's really what we want to get to.
Well, this is what I think we are trying to talk about every time we talk, is that we are pure frequency. We may have these bodies, but what's coming through it is a certain level of vibration. And as we are in the company of others and have this mind towards reaching towards something more and change, the frequency shifts and the earth itself is vibrating at a quicker rate.
So pure frequency, it eliminates disease. It keeps you looking young. It keeps you in a blissful state. It balances your brain hemispheres. There's so many benefits to pure frequency. And it's something that if I could bottle it, I would. But this is the thing, like we need to focus on that kind of technology. And if we have a collective mind that actually thinks about this pure frequency at in the future, that we can actually manifest that in a much faster way.
Right. And they're all tools for our own acceleration. I mean, where you go when your Kundalini is activated, I think it's probably much higher than that pendant that you're wearing.
Yeah, of course. But, so like the sessions I do is pure frequency, and maybe somebody else, that has connection to source would have the same pure frequency. There's foods that are, fruits and vegetables that could possibly have pure frequency depending how they're grown. There's all kinds of different ways.
I do think the purple foods, because of their color and their frequency to the higher octaves, the higher light octaves, like purple cabbage and blueberries, grapes. Yes, they are foods out here for acceleration. I do, and I also think we will hit a point at some place in time which will be a kind of ascension point where the physical bodies will start to even vibrate beyond the density of the earth itself.
It's interesting that you mentioned the purple foods. So I've been eating purple foods for almost 10 years now. So like I have to start my day with a purple food, which can be a berry, a vegetable, whatever that might be. And I always put purple, acai, all these different options, right, for the purple food. And it actually, it's kind of like starts up the frequency engine, if you will.
Right. No, I think purple is, we're shifting from infrared, which is the low astral level, to the ultraviolet. This is the, the chart of light. So as a light increases its vibration, it goes from infrared to ultraviolet. So we're moving more towards the ultraviolet, and those violet purple foods help accelerate that frequency.
Yes.
At least what I feel, and I feel better when I eat it.
Yes, absolutely. And also to add to that, do you remember on the mountain I connected to Saint Germain?
Yes. Well, that's Saint Germain's mountain, and that's
and Saint Germain. He's the purple flame. He's what
that's right.
He's the age. He's the master that's heralding the age of Aquarius.
Yes. No, he's been a guide and a presence for me for. I've ever since I've become aware of him, I've felt that energy, and of course Saint Germain appeared on that mountain to Godfrey Ray King. You can read all about that in the I Am book series, where he downloaded his message, one of
And
them,
also
to
Peter Mount
Mount
Shasta, right?
No, Godfrey Ray King. This was in the 20s and 30s.
Oh,
I mean, he appeared to other people
yeah.
since then. The I Am series, it's messages from Saint Germain.
Oh, yeah.
But let's go back to Mount Shasta.
So
And
I am. I'm going in June, and I'm also going in August.
well, I might go then too. So let's
Yeah. We'll
let's
see. We'll see.
let's camp on the mountain. If we camped up there, I think. I mean, I did have a experience last time I camped there, but there's beings there, and you definitely have to be ready to meet them. So
Absolutely. And like I talk about Isis and Saint Germain, and also the Hathors came through. I don't know if you remember that, but
well, I remember a whole bunch of people coming through you.
yeah, I think it was. Oh, and I also had the Anunnaki come through, if you remember. These are all extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, there's a doorway there to extraterrestrial. It is like when you go to vortex points, you think you're on a physical place, but they're really multi-dimensional overlays that happen at these special earth points that connect to other realities, and it makes it easier to connect with those beings. So that's what was happening for you. You just opened your mind to that.
Do you remember when we went up to the mountain in the evening with the group?
Yeah.
And so that night there was six ships. I mean, I was seeing ships all over the place, but then I focused on these 6 ships, and they looked like they were working not on the mountain, off the mountain, but it looked like they were working. And many times I would see ships coming out of the mountain, like there was like a portal, and they would come out of the mountain and then come back into the mountain. So it's absolutely activated and still working. It's not like, it's just from the past. It's still today is an active portal for our friends, what I call my friends. So it's
they
exciting.
are friends, but it's very exciting, and maybe we'll retreat there or something. That would be kind of fun to bring people there as a group and really into the energies. In a way, because we've been there, we can bring that mountain with us. We can attune to that frequency that's present in body, and once you go to these vortex sites, all of them that we've been to, they start to build centers of activation, and you just need your mind to kind of transcend the space in order to be there and pull on those energies, so you can pull them into you and activate this. So I know you had some other things happen on the mountain. I don't know if you want to share that, but you don't have to. We'll talk.
Maybe the next talk.
Okay, we'll talk
I
about.
have to go.
I know. Thank you, Val.
Thanks, Alan.
I think this is just also good for us to kind of recap and start to share what we're feeling. I know for everyone out there, we are in an acceleration point that's been happening. I think it's been happening since September. It's going to go through into the new year, and there will be some major changes in December and January. And there's an astrology conjunction that's happening in early January. That's going to also shift.
December is loaded with cosmic alignments. So be ready, guys.
Let's do a cosmic alignment show, and stay open. Feel your body. Let feelings of what's going on in your body. If you have to go to sleep earlier, if you have to eat at different times, allow yourself to get out of the routine and listen to your body and see what it wants to do. I mean, that's really helped me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right, guys. It was
How
nice.
can people sign up for Blossom online?
Yeah, just go to valsecrets.com, and that's where you can find all the information. It's always nice to connect with you, Alan. Thank you so much. I want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving on in America.
Yes, yes. And we'll do another broadcast in December. Thanks, everybody.